So here we have a little TV box that's about £35 and it features the Allwinner H6 processor. And there's only one other box we've looked at with the H6 in it, and that was the Bealing GS1 way back mid 2017, something like that. And that was a poor TV box for the price. Well built, it looked nice, well marketed. The firmware was just shocking, it just really was. Now this processor claims it can handle 6K. I don't even have a 4K TV, certainly don't have 6K video files to play back, so I have no idea whether that's going to work or not. Probably not, going off the fact that the resolution only goes up to 4K. Now the TV box itself has the H6 processor inside of it. It also has 32GB of onboard storage. It's eMMC 5.0, and we'll get onto how fast that is just in a second. We've got dual band Wi-Fi. We've also got a cheap plastic case. Not very good, but it's a cheap TV box at the end of the day, featuring some pretty decent hardware. As well as that, we've got USB ports, with one of those being 3.0, and a front LCD display. So welcome to the actual launcher. Nothing too special going on here. It says Smart 6K Player up on the top here. I don't have any 6K files to test. I certainly don't have a 6K TV, but it is what it is. This H6 Allwinner processor claims it can handle that. Don't have anything to actually test those claims, unfortunately. On the top here, we just got some symbols. It says it's connected to the Wi-Fi, etc. You know, the sort of standard sort of thing going on here. If we go into my apps, we've got all the apps going on. And yeah, just a standard, very basic launcher. So, how well does the actual firmware perform? Well, obviously, I've already installed a lot of different apps already, and yeah, it's not a bad TV box, actually. The firmware's nice and smooth. Allwinner firmware tends to be half decent. I know from experience, like Bealing boxes and stuff like that, it's not a bad experience. It's not perfect, but it's not a bad experience. It's certainly not slow. Unfortunately, the system does not come with any system updates. The company isn't supporting it like I would have liked it to have. It's just got this standard Google system update, which is not connected to any server or anything like that. There's nothing else as well to actually update it in the actual app section like you normally see on a lot of these TV boxes. As well as that, we're only running Android 7.1. Again, the firmware runs perfectly fine as far as I can tell. I've got a few niggles and I'll get onto that just in a second. But yeah, it's an old version of Nougat. It's not the final version, so it's a bit crap, really. Anyway, we've got the build number as well, and it says test keys at the end, so you know it's not a final release of the firmware. It's just test firmware basically. So we've kind of got used to that when we've looked at TV boxes, so I'm not too surprised. Now the box itself is 35 UK pounds, so it's still relatively cheap. It's got a H6 processor inside of it, 3GB of RAM, 32GB of onboard storage. So if we come out there, let's test this onboard storage. Let's see how fast it is. I've already tested it, of course, but I'm just going to show you the results just now. Go to the results just here. We've got a read speed of 95 megabytes a second and a write speed of 46 megabytes a second. This is eMMC 5.0. Nothing too special going on here. It's not slow, it's not fast, it's just what I expect really from it. It's nothing too special. If we come out of there, if we go into Antutu Benchmark, we'll have a look at that. Obviously, I've already tested it, and it's a pretty decent score for a TV box. 53,590. It didn't do too badly with supporting OpenGL 3.1 and 3.0. You know, all the the test clips that Antutu goes through. It didn't do it super duper smooth, but it didn't do too badly either. And the fact that it runs Antutu Benchmark version 7 compared to Amlogic boxes, it's running Amlogic boxes do not like this version at all. So let's come out of there. Let's test one final thing before we move on. So the speed test by Ookla. So this device has dual band Wi-Fi, 2.4G and 5G connection as well. And I'm just connected to a 2.4G connection at the moment. And from downloading things from the Play Store, it didn't do too bad a job. It was a bit flaky here and there. It dropped, you know, a little bit of speed now and again. Whether that was my connection or not, I'm not entirely sure. But overall, not too bad. I'm not actually that far away from the router itself, so it would be interesting to see how well it performs over a longer distance. The box itself, there's no real showing antenna, so it's not going to be compact and built inside that box. So I wouldn't expect it to have an amazing connection over distance. But anyway, I'm blabbing on now. So let's get this test out of the way and see how well it performs. So we've got a download speed of 16, 17 megabytes a second. So the optimal speed should be 35, because that is my download speed. So it's not quite keeping up there. Maybe there's something wrong with my internet today, not entirely sure, but the upload speeds, you're about right. That's what I normally get. So anyway, let's move out of that, because that's pretty boring stuff. So let's move on to video playback. So the interesting thing about this is that it says it can handle 6K. I don't have a 6K TV. I don't even have a 4K TV. I really do need to get one so I can actually properly test the 4K playback of these devices. I don't have it. It's not something I can get hold of just right now. But I can certainly test 1080p. And obviously I've already tested it already on this box. And it's good to know that it can handle it properly. Some of these boxes, I mean, the last box I reviewed was limited to 720p. And this is not. This is got my 1080p availability. I'm not entirely sure if that will bump up to 4K if I had a 4K TV or not. I'm not entirely sure. The display settings do actually have a 4K capability, and yeah, it's running nice and smooth. No issues there at all. I mean, if I come straight out of that and go into the settings just to quickly show you, go to display. And display size. No, it's not that one. There we go. It's just finding the right one sometimes, because some of these aren't set up as they all are normally. So anyway, 1080p 60 Hz, that's its standard setup, and we've got here 4K 60 Hz. There's no 6K at 60 Hz now, is there? So it would be interesting to see why they've stated it can handle 6K. Unless I'm just not understanding the whole resolution thing properly. Probably is that. Now let's move on to the little niggles I've got about this firmware, and then I'll show you the actual rest of the actual playback capabilities, etc. I've got some jellyfish files to play for you. But just quickly, the pip settings here. So this is picture-in-picture mode. Unfortunately, although it has it in this part of the firmware, you can't actually do anything with it. You can change like this positioning and stuff like that. If I go into, say, Chrome, for example, I can't actually use it. Say if I was to hold down on this, it should come up with here and ask me where I want to position the actual app. So I could have one app here, another app over here, and even when I try and pull up, there's just nothing. I should be able to pull up a menu here and allow me to actually choose where I want the app, etc. Just like you can on your mobile phone, if you know what I'm talking about with what picture-in-picture mode is. I did show it on the Sunval H3 TV box, and unfortunately, they've removed it or done something to it. We've just got no menu bars at all, like we should have. But there we go. So yeah, let's move on now quickly to the actual Vlc player. Let's have a look at these jellyfish files. I've already actually played them. It does no good with these 4K ones. I suspect that's probably down to my TV. So the fact that the TV can't handle the resolution, but I'm not entirely sure why it won't play them at all. It doesn't even struggle, it just refuses. Anyway, it plays this 1080p one beautifully, absolutely perfect. And yeah, as you can see, it's nice and fluid and clean. But yeah, it doesn't seem to do anything else apart from just play that 1080p file. Not something that bothers me, it really isn't. I mean, I'm not too fussed about that. Now, if we move on to Netflix, you guys who like Netflix, I like Netflix, I've got a Netflix account, but I've only got a basic account. I'm not really fussed about 1080p playback or anything like that. It's just not something that interests me. Now, this is just basically a connection to Netflix browser version of their service, basically. And this will only play 40p. You won't get 1080p out of this. Obviously, this TV box isn't known to Netflix. Netflix have no idea what this device is. They are not going to support it. DRM protection will be almost non-existent on this box, I suspect. And yeah, you're just not going to get it. It's just the way it is. So anyway, let's move on. Let's just show you some gameplay. So let's plug in a Xbox controller. So as always, we're going to try Asphalt 8 and see how well that runs. So that's my controller plugged in, recognizes it straight away. So press the any key, go straight to play, and straight away we've got the adverts, so I just have to click out of these damn adverts. So this box should do a pretty decent job of this. So next, start race. I'll probably just skip to this part because it's going to take a while to actually load this game up. Right, so here we go. So that didn't take too long actually. So far so good. I'm probably going to get this wrong as well at the start. I always end up going backwards and I have to cut it out in the edit. There we go, done it again. I keep pressing the wrong one. So this is just a 360 Xbox controller. And I've already played this game actually, tried it out, and it was a bit stuttery. As you can see, it's not the smoothest of experiences. I mean, the S912 probably handles it a bit better than this, you know, the Amlogic S912. And yeah, let's get my boost right up. And there we go. As you can see, it's all right. The settings are actually high. It's on its highest setting for graphics, and it's probably best being put down just a little bit, maybe even to the lowest setting, I'd say, just so you can play it properly. At the end of the day, the processors that they put in these, although they marketed them as being super duper powerful, they're not. They are cheap ARM processors. I mean, compared to like Qualcomm, for example, even their cheapest processor would knock the socks off the Amlogic S912 and this one as well. There's this totally different ballpark. That's a whole different story for probably another video. But yeah, gameplay's fine. You should get the most out of this game, for example. Plenty of other games I'll play. Emulation should be absolutely fine. So what do I think of this box? It's actually not too bad. It feels very cheap though. The build quality of it's not amazing. It's a cheap plasticky casing, not the best. I mean, the Bing GS1, that was a nice case, but it was more expensive than this box, of course. This one's £35. So, and the GS1 was about, I think it was about twice that. I'm not entirely sure. It can't do 6K. Unless I'm misinterpreting that for some reason. It's not something really that I pay a lot of attention to with resolutions. I'm more interested to see if the box works and does a wide range of things, really. Yeah, the firmware's fine. It works just fine. I can't really ask for more from it. Do I recommend this box? Maybe. I just wish this company would support the firmware properly, provided updates regularly and stuff like that. That would have been nice to see, but it's not something I don't expect from the TV boxes manufacturers anymore, because half of them just don't do it anyway. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, give you a bit of insight into this TV box. And thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Check out the website, Twitter, Facebook group, and yeah, thanks again. We'll see you very soon.